In this edition of the People's Platform, I have come to the American Corner, a center for academic research and intellectual debate, to interview a man who has been in the political scene for 2 decades, a human rights lawyer and a politician. Lawyer Ousainou Darboe has contested in 4 presidential elections, but lost in all. In 2011, his party was largely defeated by APRC party. So, isn't it time for him to pack his political suitcase and say bye to the flagship position of the United Democratic Party? In this program, I will challenge him on 2 issues. First, why does he think that he can still contest for the position of president despite him being declared ineligible by the Constitution? And second, what makes him to believe that his party has the right policies to convince Gambians to vote for them in the 2016 presidential elections?
Thank you very much.
We thank you so much for being on the People's Platform. Lawyer Ousainou Darboe, what makes you to believe that you can still contest for the position of presidency despite the constitutional caveat?
Good question. Let me just say that I have never held myself out as being the person who must contest. So the question is predicated on a wrong premise. Whether constitutional caveat or not constitutional caveat, my eligibility for contested elections on behalf of my party is dependent on the decision of the party to select me as a candidate or not. So whether there's any legal impediment or not, I do not have a right to be sponsored as a candidate. I make an application to the party. I would make an application to the party, and the party would scrutinize an application.
But if you look at Section 62, Sub 1B of the 1997 Constitution, it's saying a person shall not be qualified to become a president if he exceeds 65 years, which of course...
I agree, that is the constitutional provision, but I'm saying that your question is premised on a wrong footing. Why do you contest? Because I have never held myself at that I have to contest.
But you said, if I may quote, during your 66th birthday anniversary, you said, I have never said I am quitting. My standing for election is not a decision in my hands. It is a decision with the party.
Absolutely.
And the party members are saying, the party members, executive members of the party, youth and female wing, and cross-section of the opposition United Democratic Party have asserted their resolve that Secretary General Ousainou Darboe will be the party's candidate in 2016 presidential election in the same, venue, that is your 66th birthday anniversary, which impliedly means that you have acknowledged that.
I agree that that statement was made by me, and my party supporters have held that position, and of course we are working towards December 2016. Nominations are due in November 2016, and within that period we are doing everything possible to ensure that whatever impediment is on the way is removed. But let me just say this: those impediments are not going to be removed just for Ousainou Darboe. It will be a provision that is applicable to everyone who attains the age of 65 and above. And again, let me say that our insistence is to ensure that that provision is removed, not that I would have to contest. Because if it is removed, we can have Mr. A, Mr. B, or some other person come in to contest as a candidate. If you recall, in one of my interviews, probably after this statement, I said, look, UDP has quite a number of candidates, quite capable, not only among men, but also among women. And it should not be a surprise to anybody if UDP comes out a female candidate. So, I mean, you have to accept one thing that sometimes in politics, you have to have a mind game.
So
you have to know that, But I have stated that in fact that you can have a female candidate. And when the focus has been on me, I said, look, I think Gambians and those people who pose that question have been unfair. They ought to have a focus in that Democratic Party, not on me as an individual. Because apart from anything else, when nature can have its way on me, does that mean that United Democratic Party will not put up a candidate? Does that mean that United Democratic Party is just tied to Usainu Dabo? And if Usainu Dabo is incapacitated for any reason, then United Democratic Party becomes incapacitated. That is not the basis on which our party has been founded. It has not been founded on the belief in an individual, but in the belief in ideas and ideas for which we stand.
So are you impliedly saying that a female candidate will be coming this 2016 presidential election?
I'm talking about the possibility.
Okay, and now let's move to the other point. Octogenarian Aba Jobate, a provincial UDP kingpin, said the law which has prescribed this age limit, describe it as a nonsense law. Of course, yourself describe it as an abominable provision. Some might be wondering, where was Usainu Dabo the time this law was put in the Constitution and the Constitution was taken around the country for people to vote in for the Constitution? What is your response to that?
Let me say, I mean, when it was put at the referendum, let me say I was not in the Gambia then. So I didn't have the opportunity to vote at the referendum. But Gambians and a lot of other people who probably do not follow me, very meticulously, I mean, have tended to believe that this issue was just raised this year, which is not true. Since 1997, we have picked up provisions in the Constitution, and you say that they are abominable, that they do not have any place in the laws of this country. The banning of the political parties, PPP, NCP, PPP, GPP, and the politicians of the Fourth Republic. I mounted campaign in the UK, in the Commonwealth Secretariat, at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, at the State Department, and every opportunity I had with American ambassadors and representatives of other governments here, EU, we all brought up these issues, that they are not, or they should not be part of our laws. We've advocated that, look, that provision was there to exclude, in fact I called it, the senior citizen clause, that it is there to exclude senior citizens from contesting elections. And I made, in fact, at that time I made particular reference to Hassan Musa Kamara, whom I said was a man of impeccable character, a man who had the standing to contest for the presidents of this country, and a man who would be a rallying point. And this clause was intended to disqualify people like him, and that it ought not to be there. But people tend to think that it is this that we are doing it. That is absolutely untrue. We have always brought it up, and we have succeeded in ensuring that the ban on political activities was lifted on the on other parties and the politicians of the First Republic. And our crusade to ensure that you have a constitution that every Gambian can take advantage of. It's put in place. And this is not a clause for Usainu Dabo. It is a clause that I've said for senior citizens, people who have matured over the years. And as it is creeping on other politicians, and other politicians are creeping to meet that provision. So, I mean, the advocacy is not for Usainu Dabo.
Yeah, what some people also are saying is that as a senior lawyer, they expect you to use the legal means, like to fight, the issue before the constitutional court.
Yes.
Has that been done?
That has not been done, and it has not been done because in my studies, and I think probably I had one of the best professors of constitutional law, T.O. Elias. He subsequently became the president of the International Court of Justice, a very erudite Nigerian. I have never seen or been taught that you can challenge the unconstitutionality of a constitutional provision. You can always challenge the constitutionality of a law because it violates the Constitution, but the Constitution itself cannot violate itself. So, because I cannot go to the Supreme Court and say, look, I'm going to challenge this provision. It runs against the Constitution when it is part of the Constitution.
Okay, I think that's a fair point. In 2015, you wrote on your Facebook timeline that does President Jammeh, in fact, insidiously accept and know what he cannot win a free and fair election cleanly and has never won free and fair election throughout his presidency. Is this a fair statement?
In my view, it is a fair statement, and I stand to be contradicted by anybody. I accept the challenge, debate, challenge from anybody.
Yeah,
We'll show you the various incidents that show that these elections have never been free and fair. Can you go to a community when you are in charge of the pulse, the nation's pulse, and tell them that, look, no road will come. There will be no road in your area. There will be no development in your area if you do not vote for me. You call that a free election? The national, when you are in charge of national coffers, you have been elected as president of the nation, and you have to treat every community equally. And you go and threaten them with that. And you, in fact, after the by-elections in Salem, Lower Salem, what did the president say? He said, look, you've seen the people of Kianso, you will also, taste what they have gone through. When you have such incidents, and people want development to come to their communities, they are, of course, their consciousness is not such as to say, look, this is your stock. Because any conscious person will tell you, look, this is just mere political talk. But he cannot, because the development of the country, of one district, the development of one district is inextricably intertwined with the development of other districts. So you cannot just isolate one community. But I'm just giving that as one instance.
What some people are saying is that a statement like that, only that statement, should not warrant you to say the entire election is not free and fair.
I've given you...
And you have gone far in citing that there was no free and fair election that has ever been won by President Jammeh's government. Some might be wondering, all the statements made by the AU, the African Union's election observation during the last election, of course the National Youth Parliament and other youth organizations in the country who serve as independent electoral observers, all their conclusions, as highlighted by the Independent Electoral Commission, where the election went free and fair.
Well, that has been their view. After all, the AU came into the country to observe the elections for 2 weeks. An election commenced with registration. It's not the voting. What they have commended is the voting. They would never condemn an election as being unfair or unfair unless there is violence. And we as Gambians, from 1965, in fact from 1960 to now, we have been very cautious. We've restrained ourselves that we will not throw this country into turmoil. We will not destabilize this country, for what? For political office. At least my party believes in that. My party believes in that. I've always made the statement that, look, even a cock will not be killed except for ceremony.
Okay, according to
so let me learn. So the AU, what they saw was the voting day. And in fact, let me tell you that one of the elections, the AU was headed, delegation was headed by former Foreign Minister of Nigeria, And I condemned him because the statements he made when he went to the presidency, he was, the platitudes and so forth. It just made me suspicious that there was something wrong.
Okay, according to Seth Matijao, a former University of the Gambia political science lecturer, wrote in his recent article, Gambian Youth and Partisan Politics, Apathy or Resistance. He said, I am not very convinced that rigging of votes takes place in the Gambia. I observed the last elections and I have seen the way ballot boxes are arranged and votes counted afterwards. Equally, the presence of party representatives makes it less likely for such to happen. Elections in the Gambia are lost and won during voter registration. What do you say about his statement?
Well, I agree with it in part. That at registration, in fact, I did mention that elections commence with registration. And rigging, external rigging, that is, it takes place at election. Now, you will all agree that usually when elections are approaching or registration are approaching, you have all sorts of festivals organized. And you have people coming from God knows from where. And Gambian, to access Gambian national identity, national document is the easiest thing. Passport, national identity card is the easiest thing to access. And these are the basic things that are used to secure voter's card. Someone who has never been to the Gambia can come in, speaks fluent Mandinka, come in and say, look, I'm from Khartoum, and he gets a voter's card. Somebody who speaks fluent Fula from Guinea 2 days ago, he comes. He says, look, I'm from Kuloro.
So in your opinion, most of our national documents have been altered or given to people that are not Gambians.
I'm not saying that they're altered, but I say that people access and procure our national documents easily.
Even though they are not Gambians?
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's go to this point. We have less time.
Absolutely. Let me just add one thing, that the other criteria that is used to acquire voter's card is the birth certificate. After all, a birth certificate is just evidence of place of birth, not evidence of your nationality. So, but then they are using it. These are the things that are used.
The statistics on voter apathy keeps on declining, especially in National Assembly election. For example, in 1997, 73.2%, 2002, 56.38%, 2007, 41.70%, and 2012, it has declined for the worst, 19.44% respectively. Don't you think your party has a role has played a significant role in this downplay of people's participation in politics, knowing exactly the history behind UDP in terms of boycotting elections?
Well, I don't know boycotting. Whether boycotting is the and you choose that word. Because whether I agree with you or not, you have chosen that.
They have mentioned in this very article. Your party has been specifically mentioned that UDP should be blamed largely for the low voter turnouts in 2007 and 2012 National Assembly and local government elections.
I don't think that is a fair. I think that is a fair comment.
But do you regret about it?
Whether I regret or not, I'll come to that. I'll come to that. I don't think that is a fair comment. However, in 2011, it was in UDP alone that abstained.
No, 2007 and 12.
Yeah, 2012.
Local government elections.
That's what I'm saying. 2012.
In 2011, it was only NRP that participated in the presidential election.
Yeah,
the rest boycotted.
That is what I'm saying, that in 2012, it was not UDP alone that abstained from participating in National Assembly elections. So the statement making UDP responsible for the voter apathy, I think it's not fair. Why do you exclude PPP? Why do you exclude GMC? Why do you exclude DOI? They didn't take part in 2012 National Assembly elections. And 2007 National Assembly elections, we took part. Go to the history. Then Motsani became the minority leader. So it was not correct.
Okay, so you dispute this fact.
So factually it's not correct.
Okay. Now let's move to this point. Do you regret personally in relation to the voter apathy that we have been experiencing since year 2002?
No, well, regret in the sense that it's not something that should happen, but not regret in the sense that I have been responsible for it.
Yeah, because you said, if I may quote your word, if I may quote your word, you said in 2000, of course, in relation to this election, in the second National Congress of the United Democratic Party in LRR 2010, you said we boycotted the 2002 National Assembly election, a decision for which I took personally. I regret the decision, which was influenced by my trust and confidence in a fellow party member.
Yes, sir. I did say that. I believe it was an interview I gave after the Congress in summer. I did say so.
Okay. What we will do now is we will allow our audience to also ask questions in relation to the issues that we've been discussing since at the beginning of the program. But before going, I have few points that I want to make clear. That is, are you a socialist, or is it the United Democratic Party a socialist party?
No. You know, we are not brought down by any ideology.
Okay, that's good. But you are very associated with socialist movement.
Oh, it's socialist international, yes.
But that doesn't mean that you are.
I mean, certainly. You will not consider United Kingdom has been operated as a socialist state, and the Labour Party is a very prominent member of the Socialist International.
Yeah, but the Conservative government has excluded itself entirely from that. Yeah, but because why I'm asking you this is because you said in that Congress we have established link with Socialist International and its youth association, the National Union of Socialist Youth. And I said over the years, our officers have attended meetings of the parent body in observer status, which our youth have fully participated in the meetings of International Socialist Youth in Denmark, Cameroon, South Africa, to name a few. And you personally, of course, you delivered a paper on the topic, the influence of security on politics of West Africa.
Yes, in Mali.
In Mali.
Yes, I did.
Which is a socialist program. So that's why I'm asking you this question.
Yes.
So this has nothing to do with your party.
No. Our membership of what I'm saying that our membership of the Socialist International, is not based, on having the ideology that people bandy about, like maybe Venezuela, or maybe like Cuba. I mean, after all, Senegal has a party called the Party Socialist. But that does not mean that you're going to, as a government, you're going to operate on the basis of quote unquote socialism. We are part of that organization, but then that does not mean that we are taken out as a. Because sometimes when you talk of these things, you've been divorced from organizations and regimes that govern or regulated by the known democratic norms. They think that everything is done in a manner that, according to maybe conservatives, would be unorthodox. And that is not the question. And as I said, like today, in the UK, the leader of the Labour Party is probably one of the most outspoken, quote-unquote, socialist leaders. But then, Britain, if he becomes Prime Minister, Britain would not be run in the way that people think socialist states are run and managed.
Okay, so now the floor is open. If anyone has a question, you can raise your hand and then Mr. Lawyer Dabo would be able to answer it. But before going further to that, what I want to know is this 2016 presidential election is coming. What package do you have for Gambian people?
Well, the package that we have for Gambian people is a better society, a better Gambia, which entails good governance, which entails an energized economy. These are basic things that you have to have. An economy that is energized, and you have good governance.
Okay, so do you what is your opinion on the Vision 2016 policy? I've gone through your manifesto 1996 and the recent one, and I feel that one of the areas that caught my mind most is the agriculture, the sector of agriculture. Do you think the area of agriculture is something that you need to work on hard, looking at what the current government is doing in terms of taking agriculture to another level? The Vision 2016 policy alone is something that is sufficient to many people, and of course the investment that they are doing in the area of agriculture back to the land, and then other issues in agriculture. Do you think that is not a settled area that PDP can just close over and focus on other important areas?
Well, see, in a country like Gambia, agriculture can never be closed area, because that's the means of our economy. It can never be closed area. You have to do things to improve on what exists. Otherwise, if you remain static, then you will be overtaken. But let me say this, I had said it on occasions, let me reiterate it, that Vision 2016, if anyone says it's not a good vision, they are mistaken. I have always doubted its practicability. Look, within 1 year, it is not sufficient, it is not possible to make Gambia food self-sufficient. It's a dream. And back to land, really, if you tell Gambians go back to the land, you are just telling them that, look, this is what you know. You've been born into a country that depends on agriculture. So
but you believe that Vision 2060 is a good policy.
It's I mean, who would contest the fact that no, the government should not pursue the policy of food self-sufficiency? It would only be a madman.
Good.
And I have always commented, but I have always said that, look, it was a dream. In fact, it was not properly thought out. You have to have your technicians, your experts. You have to look at various things, the vagaries of the weather, of the climate. You have to look at factors that could impede the achievement of the vision and make your plan for it. In fact, you stagger it. I wouldn't have said Vision 2016, I would have given it maybe 15 years and say, for the first 5 years, we're going to produce so many tonnage of rice, goods, feed and so forth. And then, you increase your production. And then to reach your target, what you cannot do, it's just like, giving birth to a baby and then start working. It's impossible.
According to Minister Abdul Koli, the Minister of Finance, in his budget speech, he said the total production for the 2015 cropping season is estimated at 284.853 metric tons, which represented 10% compared to 2014 production of 256.898 metric tons. A great improvement, isn't it? So don't you think we can achieve it before the end of 2016?
Well, he has said that statement. He has said that statement, but is that statement
so even with this improvement, we cannot achieve it before end of 2016.
After 2016 has ended, no, it's not end of 2016. The target was that 2015.
End of 2015.
31st December 2015, there will be no importation of rice.
Now it is moved from September.
No, and now it's supposed to
September 2016.
So the division is that 1st of January 2016, Gambia will be full.
Okay, so now let's go to our audience, our wonderful audience. Maybe you can stand up and ask the question.
Honorable Lawyer Usain Dabo, many Gambia, we are already in 2016 and we have about 11 months to the elections on December 1st, 2016. We've seen the APRC government winning elections from 2006 to 11. Now we are in the election year. My question to you is, is it going to be business as usual as some Gambians might think, or are you seeing a game changer? Are we going to see something different? If you think so, what do you think are the signs, or what are the possible game changers for this coming presidential election?
Good. Well, when it comes to matters of politics, I am always very optimistic. I am a rationalist. I live on hope, and I'm very, very optimistic. And my optimism, pushes me, gives me the drive. And honestly, I believe that the situation in the Gambia is such that every Gambian now wants a change. I have said it in order for that it is the duty of each and every one of us to tell our friends, to tell our uncles, to tell our brothers that, look, there is need for change. And you can only achieve that change through the ballot box, legitimately through the ballot box. And I encourage everyone to have confidence in the ballot box and repose your hope in the ballot box and not any extra legal way, because it has its deficits. I strongly believe it. Look, 2 years ago, nobody from the Green Youth will mount the podium of an opposition party and say that I am Green Youth, I abandon it, and I have come with so many people. 2 years ago, nobody dared do that. But Gambians have reached a point when they realize that, look, if we cannot do it the Yaya Jammeh way, we'll now have to take our stand. And they are taking their stand. And I am very optimistic that 2016 will not be like other election years.
But if I may put this question, if I may substitute it with this, 2016 would be a question of difference. But still now people are saying that they have not seen any sign in the opposition when it comes to terms of, forming a coalition to make one leader to challenge the incumbent. Is there any possibility?
There is a possibility. I'm not even talking of possibility, I'm talking of probabilities.
A coalition?
Because I'm talking of probabilities because things that can be possible, yet they are not probable. Let me just say, yesterday I was on another medium and I said this, that look, we have taken steps that is very monumental. In previous years, you've never seen the opposition parties in this country get together and say, look, we have to look at the laws of this country that govern the electoral process and do something about it. It has never happened. Each party goes its own way. UDP will say, look, look at this section of the election stuff. Is bad, is this, is that, and that is it. They would do the same thing. PPP would do, and then, but this year, or this past months, the opposition have got together. And
but the problem
put
is,
their views and let me learn and put their views together, which I believe is a very, very important step. It has given us, we've discussed those issues for maybe 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, but the problem is, whenever the opposition come together, they become more divided than united. For example, in 2006 presidential election, the NAD was formed. Everyone thought that something was going to be successful on the side of the opposition, but at the end of the day, everything collapsed. In the recent election as well, the United Front, all the parties that came together ended up dividing. So is that a good sign?
You are absolutely right. I don't want to get into history about some of this because let me say this, I have to take it upon myself to coordinate activities of the opposition parties, and I should be very careful in what I say, so that I do not throw spanners in the works. You know. But then, 2006, failure of NAD, when people write the history without discussions, we come to find that NAD probably started on a wrong footing.
Okay.
So I don't want to go because there are people, I mean, who were part of NAD and we are trying to get them together.
Let's take another
so I wouldn't
question.
want to.
Let's take another question.
My question is, many political analysts begin to say that Lawyer Dabo is not a serious political contestant when it comes to 2016 presidential elections. The reason being is, why is it still 2016, barely or less than 12 months to the presidential elections, and the United Democratic Party is not able to produce the standard bearer for the United Democratic Party?
Okay, good.
But they are concentrating on, rather concentrating on the age limit, the constitutionality of Lawyer Dabo being coming in to stand as the presidential candidate for the United Party in the 2016 presidential election.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes. So do you make of that about the issue of, you only focus on the age limit of the United Democratic Party, but when it comes to the real issues, as you highlighted, it's barely discussed.
I agree that people have been saying that, and obviously the United Democratic Party has candidates in mind, but again, there are talks of having a united front. Would it be prudent for us to say, look, this is our candidate?
What is what is stopping you from identifying your party, your leader?
This is our candidate. That this is our candidate, when in fact maybe there are other parties who are thinking of other modalities of a united front. Because as I said, I am trying to coordinate these things, and I don't want to do anything that will really throw spanners in the works. But let me say that we intend to hold our Congress very soon, and of course the Congress is not going to select the flag bearer. The Congress selects only the leader of the party, which is quite different from the presidential candidate. And we believe that what people are in haste for, after all, they'll get it very soon. But one thing that puzzles me, why isn't anybody asking who is the candidate for Doi? Why isn't anybody asking who is the candidate for other? No, but quite frankly,
there is a party. There is a party that has always there's a changes when it comes to leadership between Halifa Saleh and that of Sidia Jara. Yes. Isn't that a little bit democratic? But the rest of the party, the rest of the other parties in the country, is only one figure. Why?
No, I disagree. I disagree, and that is because Syria have reached the disqualifying constitutional age. After all, in 1996, did he contest? Did he contest in 1996?
He did.
He did, and in 2001.
He did?
He did. But so because he also had the constitutional, somebody used caveat, because he was caught by, I believe, caught by the caveat. So, he couldn't contest.
Yeah, but the point is, all of the PDIs, that's the PDIs party, at least for them, some are saying they are more democratic than any other parties in the country because their leadership is changeable.
The candidate.
At times, Halifa Saleh will come.
You are talking of candidate.
Yes.
You are talking of candidate.
Presidential candidate.
Yeah, you are talking of candidate, which is different from the leader. You are talking of candidate.
Yeah, we are talking about the candidate.
Yeah, you are talking about the candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see whether we can have another question.
Yes.
Can you stand up?
My question is in relation to the youth. Knowing very well that we constitute 65 to 67% of the population. And demographically, we are also the active working population of any nation, any economically thriving nation. And it is sad enough to see the level of the level of misery, shall I call it misery, that is befalling our youth now. Coming to unemployment, the issue of unemployment among them, the issue of improper immigration, and the high rate of ignorance and skilled job among them and all that. And you will also realize that these youths, their participation in national politics, is evident that is next to nothing. And that is, don't you think that is not as a result of the way and the manner in which political parties, approach politics in the Gambia, so that youths are being marginalized from the political circle, and as a result of which their voice is not heard, since they are remote from the active involvement in our national politics.
Good question. Your approach.
Well, I do not think that, at least let me start speaking for UDP. I do not think that UDP has excluded youths from participating in the political life of the country. In fact, that is why we even have a youth wing of the party. It is a matter of great concern to me personally that I see the youth of this country, are rather apolitical. They are not interested in the affairs, in the political life of this country. They are satisfied being called the future leaders, but yet not willing to do what future leaders should be doing. And in my private conversation with the Speaker of the National Youth Parliament, I said, look, there is vast potential in the youth of this country, that I want to see the youth of this country take active role in the political life of this country. They should not just be cheerleaders. They should not just be agents for political parties. They should not be just pawns in the hands of party leaders. They should be there. They should be active participants. They should contest for the elective offices. But what is sad is that you find a great number of youths in this country, they are dissatisfied, probably they are dissatisfied with the situation. They say it privately, but then how it should be brought to an end, they know how to do it, but yet they don't want to take part in it. You find a lot of youths, they don't want to be seen publicly flirting with the opposition because they fear that something might happen to them. But the system that instills that fear in you, it is that system that you have to wage war against. It is that system that you have to destroy, overthrow it, and enthrone a system that will treat you as a worthy citizen. I think the youth of this country have a vast potential, and it is for them to make use of it. You look at it. You look at the local government institutions, the local councils, the young people that you have there. You can hardly call educated. In the National Assembly, you don't have any youth in National Assembly. You just have
What we have Honorable Sirinjai, Babwe Sonko.
They have been handpicked. They have dared in contest. And I'm asking you not to be handpicked, because when you are handpicked, you are at the mercy of the person who has nominated you. You are like, so it is absolutely necessary. Honestly, I told the Speaker that, look, my children are disappointing me.
Why are they disappointing you?
Because they are not taking part in the political life of the country. And this they should do for their country. Look, I am let me tell you this. I came in 1996 because I thought I was just going to be, a transitional person because I'm so interested in my law. I thought I should go back and practice my law. I want to have, if you have, young, determined youths, fairly educated, you just pass the pattern to them.
What many young people are complaining is that it's like a blame game now. The old generation is saying, of course, these young people don't want to be part of the political thread. The young people are saying, no, the old people are not allowing us, are not giving us the opportunity to be part of the political thread.
But that is not UDP.
So that's a different approach.
That is not UDP.
Okay.
That is not UDP. We have our door open to the youth of this country. Let them come and take over the leadership of the party and run the party the way we want, and then take from the government and run the government of the way they want it to be done. We'll be on the side and say, oh, our children are doing well. Or where they want to go, where they want to go wrong, we advise them that please come back on track.
Okay, let's take the last question.
Thank Mr. Dabo for this time that he's having with us here. Well, you've mentioned of possibility of UDP having a female candidate to stand for the presidency. It's to my knowledge that none of the political parties have ever chosen a female candidate to stand for the presidency. And since the Gambia has been declared Islamic State, do you foresee the Gambia of having a female president someday in the near future?
Well, that is why it is not taught, because we see that Gambia, that it is right for Gambia to have a female president. Time is right. I mean, after all, we are moving with times, and the female president being elected is not, cannot be something that is strange to the Gambia. Now, as far as Islamic State is concerned, I think that was one of the big political jokes. Really, Mr. President.
A big political joke after ordering civil servants to cover up their head?
Well, I'm happy that he rescinded it.
But the current government is very serious about the Islamic State.
Mr. Fatih, he said the thing is that, this statement is so serious, and then what followed, really had prepared some of us to do certain things that would really, be very embarrassing to him.
Like how?
We will just go under section 20 under section 5 and section 127 of the Constitution.
But the Gambia cannot be declared as an Islamic State.
It cannot. In fact, it has absolutely no effect. It has absolutely no legal effect. And the attempt to make it a de facto Islamic State is what was being attempted to say that you must cover your head. And if that had not been rescinded, we are going to take the matter to court.
But still now, Gambia is called the Islamic Republic.
Yeah. Calling it Islamic Republic, does it make it an Islamic Republic? I call you, Alcalo of Bansang, does that make an Alcalo of Bansang? No, quite frankly, no.
So in your opinion, that's a political joke?
No, honestly, but then, it's a political joke, for me it's a political joke, but then, Mr. President does not know the ramifications of this internationally. Internationally, he doesn't, he's not, if he's aware, then he must be oblivious as to the international implications of this. And I'm very hopeful that it will just remain as it is. I see that the other faiths, practicing their religion the way they have always been, no interference. And of course, in an Islamic state, you won't have, churches operating. In an Islamic state, you won't have, a beauty pageant. The Islamic state was declared, and then a few days after, you have young school girls who have just left school, parading themselves on stages, showing their beauty. Is that what you have in the Islamic state? And should that be what any president really? For me, it's an abuse of those girls.
How is it an abuse of those?
How can you expose such young girls, all of them probably below the age of 21 years, you parade them on stage, showing their beauty, and so forth, all in the name of raising funds for what? As July 22nd, what?
But those guys consented.
Mr. Consent by those girls, for them they could really understand the very implications of what they were doing. Okay. Do they? You cry that the president wants you girls over there, and then come put nice words into your ears. I do not think that any head of state should really be party to such things. I'm not against beauty. Beauty contest. I'm not against them, but I'm against the president, any president, using it, as a means of saying, you want to raise funds for certain activities. But scholarship. Because the government should think of a better way of getting funds.
But money that are
the government should think of better ways of raising funds to make scholarship available to our girls, rather than exposing their beauty. After all, we are some of them. We are some of those. Let me just tell you this, Mr. President. We are some of them not taken in wedlock after having participated in those in those activities, and then someone finds that quite beautiful, then I have to have this as a wife. Should those things happen? Come on.
So are you against beauty pageant?
I'm against using school girls.
But you are in support of beauty pageant? But
I'm against school girls.
Okay.
Taking part in beauty pageant.
I think that is clear. But before we go, I have a personal question. That is, looking at declaring them as an Islamic state, do you think there is any validity in relation to Gambia, people calling Gambia a secular republic, Section 1, after this Kemsen James case?
Sorry?
I said, calling Gambia being declared as an Islamic republic, do you think there is any validity, again, talking about Section 1, Gambia being a secular republic?
Well, there is a lot of validity talking about it, because you are drawing the gentleman's attention to the fact that the very constitution that you have sworn to defend, you are violating it. Because this is what Section 1 says. So there's a great deal of validity, and we should continue to say it. So that not only that provision, but other provisions of the Constitution and other laws, he must respect.
Okay, thank you so much, This is all what we have for you for this edition of the People's Platform. Till next week, bye-bye.